Just take a seat. Hey, couldn't get any press at all. You didn't
Nope.
want to put a fake mustache on top of my mustache.
Nope.
We're just doing this. Okay, cool. And enough to both write, direct, animate, and do character design. You also want to do your marketing rollout too? Nah, it wasn't enough. I had to do promo too. All right, cool. Let's get into it. So, why did you want to write this pilot? So, I created this pilot because I was in the middle of losing my job at the time and really wanted to find a creative outlet. So, I started working on this pilot to make sure that I could do something different outside of what I went to school for. It's not really just anything other than to prove to myself that I can finally make an animation project like I've always wanted to since I was a kid. What made you think that you could just make a show with no experience? You ever seen that movie, The Room? I mean, I'm you, so we've seen the same exact movies. True. So when he just pretty much was like, why can't I just make a movie? The sheer gall and ego of that kind of made me think the same thing in regards to animation. Why do we put so much emphasis on having to be in the industry and having all this experience instead of just making some stuff move and call it a show? Do you think the studio will pick this up? I have no idea if the studio will ever pick this up, but it's not on the top of my agenda. I just want to create some cool stuff. Why do you say you have no budget when you have 22,000 followers? Aren't you an influencer at a certain point? Yes, I have a following and I have a full-time job, but at the end of the day, this is a passion project. The budget for this was around $5,000 that I could come up together, especially during a pandemic. It wasn't something that I could really put a ton of money into with no studio backing or no producers trying to put some money behind it. It was just something where I had to do with what I had. And while most animated shows have like $100,000 in budget, that wasn't the case with this show. So here we are, low budget, small crew. We're still making it happen. Why does your main character have a hearing aid? So I myself am hearing impaired. I can't hear out my left ear. And I had never seen that done in different movies or audio or TV. So when I was creating my own project, I want to put a piece of myself into the main character. I think the only show or movie that I've seen kind of play with audio in that aspect is like A Quiet Place, where they go into that envelope of this is what this character is hearing. I wanted to bring that into my show, something that I'm newly accepting, I guess is the best way to put it. I've always been deaf out of my left ear, but I've never really thought of it until this past year where I couldn't hear people and was really thinking more about having to learn more accessibility things for myself. And that's why this show is subtitled by default. And I also wanted to make sure that a piece of myself was in the content. This is going to be your last art project? At first, this was going to be my last project, but no, I got a horror project I'm working on. Hopefully going to put that out next year. Past that, who knows? But for right now, enjoying the ride that is Sun, the Jewel of Ove. I have to ask, now that I have you here and we know what you're most famous for, can you draw me as a Dragon Ball character? You're funny. No. Anything else you want to self-answer during this interview? No, thank you so much for sitting down with me. I know you didn't have much of a choice, but I appreciate the time. Well, this definitely has been something. Yeah, it has. I definitely appreciate it. This is Mike Sherdan, creator of Sun and the Jewel of Ove.